As artists, and maybe even more so as self-taught artists, we often get challenged with things like self-doubt, creative blocks, maybe a loud critical voice, or even imposter syndrome. And with that said, I think cultivating a positive mindset can really be a great tool to really overcome those challenges more easily or even avoid them altogether. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, my name is Isabel, and on this channel I share my journey to becoming a full-time artist, which includes vlogs and drawing videos, and once in a while a video where I share some tips that I learned along the way. I do believe that having a positive mindset can have a significant impact on being successful as an artist, and let me explain why. So a positive mindset is about looking at the bright side of things and expect positive outcome, but it's not about being a Pollyanna and expect, rainbows and unicorns all the time, because we all know life happens, we all have bad days, and that's perfectly okay. So first, I would say having a positive outlook allows you to experiment with your art without focusing on maybe a fear of failure, and you're able to focus on the joy of creation, of making art, without necessarily thinking about the outcome of the art. A positive mindset can also help build more resilience, especially when you're dealing with rejection or criticism, because I think if you're keeping a positive mind and really focusing on your goal long term, then maybe that temporary rejection or criticism can be more easily brushed off. Staying positive can help you stay focused on your long-term goals when things maybe seem to move slowly or are stagnant. I'll give you an example with my YouTube channel. My growth hasn't been a straight line up. I've had moments when my channel has plateaued and things seems to just be frozen in time, and that can be discouraging to some degree. But if you keep that positive mindset and knowing that things will eventually start growing again, then it's a lot easier to deal with periods of stagnation or when things feel like they're moving really slowly. I think having a positive perspective can also help you deal with obstacles that may come across your path and find creative ways to overcome those obstacles. I think the more we lean towards a positive mindset, the more we're able to find creative solutions rather than feeling stuck in the negative. And finally, I would say having a positive mindset can really contribute to an overall well-being, which in turn can make for a happier creative process. So what are some ways you can cultivate a positive mindset? I have 5 tips for you today. Tip number 1 is to expect positive outcomes. Now, if you're not naturally an optimistic person, maybe you've been conditioned to look at what can go wrong, or maybe you focus on your fears too much, this could be, kind of tricky. But there are some ways you can shift that mindset and train your brain to focus on positive outcome. And I'll give you an example. One simple thing I practice on a daily basis that can really help train your brain to look at the positive is ask yourself in the morning when you wake up the question, what is the best that could happen today? So what I do when I ask these questions, I also sort of run the day through my mind and kind of imagine kind of the best case scenario of my day. And I have to say that I've been doing this for about a couple years, and that really has trained my mind to expect the best. Tip number 2 is to look for silver linings. So even say you're dealing with a rejection, you didn't get into an art fair you really wanted to participate in, or a publication did not accept your work. That could just be a way so that you have more space to focus on a better opportunity. And sometimes I know you can sometimes only see that in hindsight, but trying to look for maybe those silver linings in those sort of seemingly negative situation can really help you deal with the rejection in an easier way. Tip number 3 is sort of a segue to tip number 2, about silver linings is to view obstacles as learning experiences. So again, maybe something didn't work out the way you were expecting, but you did learn an important lesson, and that will help grow, whether it's a mistake was made in your business and it was hard to deal with, but you also learned something from it. So having this takeaway of even when something bad happens, you can learn from it and grow from it. And that's kind of where the positive mindset comes in, is instead of just focusing on the negative things that happened or the mistakes that were made, yeah, undeniably things happened, but you can also learn from them and grow from them and avoid those mistakes in the future. Tip number 4 is to practice gratitude. I think appreciation is a fuel to a positive mindset. It reminds you that with however little you may have, you can still create things, you can think outside the box to make things happen. And gratitude naturally makes us feel good, so that can have ripple effects in other areas of your life as well. So an easy way you can do that is have a dedicated journal where every morning or evening or whatever your routine is like, write 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. And it can be even more powerful if you push it a little bit further and write what you're grateful for and why you're grateful for it. And yeah, that's something I actually do practice, and I highly recommend it. Tip number 5 is to celebrate all the little wins. So whether you've finally finished that sketch you've been working on for so long, or you delivered that commission and your client was very happy, or even just getting a nice compliment on a piece of art that you've made from someone you respect or admire, those little wins can really sort of propel you in your art practice, give you that confidence, give you that sense of achievement that can help you reach your long-term goals. And I think that's part of that positive mindset, to keep looking at what's working rather than what's not working. And again, to keep in mind that even if things are not moving in a straight line, looking at what's working can help you move forward in your art practice and achieve those goals that you want. So to conclude, cultivating a positive mindset might take time and patience as you implement some of those tips perhaps. I'm hoping that you're able to have a fulfilling art practice and perhaps even reach your goal faster as an artist. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if there is any of those tips that stands out to you, or maybe your own experience with mindset. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you next week in a new video. Bye!